there are two major resources that is made available to man. Number one is the natural resources, and then number two is the human resources. The natural resources, they include mineral deposits of all manner and type to meet the needs of men in this world. They may not be found until we do a lot of journey into the depths. However, they are waiting there for the blessedness of man by his grace. They can include things like bitumen, like oil, deposits of gold, of silver, aluminium, and all kinds of resources that are vital for the use of men. You also see a lot of them. You put the seed on the ground and suddenly you find a tree with many branches producing fruits for decades and centuries, maybe just from a little seed, and providing wood for people to do all kinds of furniture as they may please and produce paper, all kinds of things. Because God has placed them there and given us a brain to coordinate, to be able to make the best use out of them while we may remain alive by His grace. Hallelujah. There are also the human resources, and they also show up themselves in the skills that are made available to man. I mean, the mind of man, so to say, the skills that he has developed, the financial resources, especially the problems that may be available to man at every point in his life. Even at the beginning of the story of man, even at creation, God had said, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth, fill it up, and subdue it. Manage it properly. You will find in the earth such dimension of sufficiency that will always go round for the supplies of everybody living. There is such abundance upon the earth, so go and take dominion over it by His grace. And several nations, or some nations, so to say, to a large extent, by the grace of God, have carried that way, that perception to be solution in the midst of problems. Notable, particularly and especially among these countries, is one country called America. If you make a comparison, for instance, between these two great nations called America and Russia, you will discover some things. Russia has the biggest landmass in the whole world, maybe twice as much as America have, or more than that. Russia also is loaded with natural resources to the tune of $75 trillion, whereas for America, they have to the tune of $40 trillion. But the gross domestic product of America today is too many multiple times beyond that of Russia. Russia has about 2.5 trillion GDP, whereas America has more than 30 trillion natural resources. Russia is small. Land mass, Russia is small. Maybe in population, Russia is small. It's ingenuity, solving problems, going creative. America is small. America has whom their greatest resource is human. Human. Only one man in America. And his business is bigger than the GDP of the whole of Russia nation. There's a graphic processing unit company in America called NVIDIA, owned by one man, I think it's of Chinese heritage, called Jensen Huang. Their GDP of that company is $3.85 trillion. Microsoft is $3.7 trillion. Amazon is $2.33 trillion. Google, known as Alphabet, their own is $2.15 trillion. Several like that. You want to count the greatest trillionaires in this world? 8 out of the top 10 are all Americans. All Americans. The GDP of the country that is next to America is $19 trillion, and that is China. America, in spite of everything they traded and gave to China, they are still about double of them in wealth and resources. Not by population, but by making sure they challenge situations and circumstances to bring out the treasures that may appear to be limiting the standards that God has created for man to have by the brain it was said to us. Americans, they are not better than anybody. It's just a perception of digging deep. Digging deep, we can get a solution out of this. Hallelujah. One day will come, and Nigeria will be ahead of them. The process has already started. Nigerians today are the highest population of educated people in America. Nobody is as educated as the Nigerians. Not any American group, not white Americans, not any American. Among immigrants, they are the most educated. And in the country altogether, they remain the most educated because of the culture of the people. It's the least thing that is expected that every child in Nigeria that we know, where the education is the key, that you don't talk about leaving school until you have passed at least first degree. You must take your first degree before you think of, maybe I've done enough. So in America today, it's Nigeria. Everybody's talking Nigeria now. One day, just find Nigeria in front. They may already be feeling threatened though. Because talk about school performance. The Nigerians have never been left behind. Never. It's just a matter of culture. It's a matter of culture. To identify that, this is it. And then you key yourself into it.